now at 10:33, and as women, we're often taught to put on a happy face while seemingly keeping everything in order for our family. And it's only natural that we often reach a boiling point when tending to others instead of taking care of ourselves. So joining us with how to better understand and also manage mom rage is local mom and parenting coach Deborah Porter, who we've had on the show before. You always offer so much wise advice. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to be here. It's been a minute since we've been in studio together.
It has been, but you know, mom rage, I've heard a lot of people talking about it. Let's start with how do you define mom rage?
So mom rage is anger uncontrolled. It's anger unharnessed, almost overpowering. And many times I hear moms even say, I'm not even an angry person. I don't even know where this is coming from. It's kind of the tip of that iceberg and all the other stuff underneath that's been brewing for a while.
I was gonna say, it's all simmering, and you know, I think a lot of times as moms, it's like, okay, you just gotta keep moving and you don't allow it, and then it just bursts up. Now, you kind of mentioned it, so is rage and anger, are they different? Are they the same?
I think they're different in that we all experience anger, right? You get angry at something, you get over it. Rage is that simmering feeling that even though on the outside it appears that you've moved on or you've gotten over it, it's still simmering, and it causes us many times to react in ways that are not consistent with who we really feel that we are.
And then when you do have that moment where it all comes out, then there's, I'm sure, sometimes that feeling of shame. I can't believe
Guilt,
I did that, guilt, etc.
yes.
So this has always, I think, been an issue, but do you think that maybe now, just based on the times that we've been living in, what we've gone through, that mom rage is kind of something that more people are seeing? Are you seeing that in your practice?
I think so. I think what's happened is the pandemic has allowed a lot of stuff to come to the surface. But I think this particular conversation about mom rage, actually it was in one of the big daily papers that come out. This was pre-pandemic. This article was written about mom rage. They published it again in the middle of the pandemic, and women all over the world began responding. And so at that moment, then there was a national morning show that actually brought moms on that were brave enough to actually sit like we're talking now and express what they've been doing, why they feel like they're being, you know, kind of haunted by this mom rage. And, you know, of course they were, you know, tons of negative comments, but they were brave. They stepped forward to help all of us and to allow us to have this conversation even today.
Exactly. So now that we've kind of recognized and addressed what it is, it's always important, and we always love here on the show how to either prevent it, how to manage it. So you have some tips for us.
Yeah.
What should we be doing to manage that?
I think one of the first things we have to do as mothers and as women, we have to know our triggers. You have to know what sets you off, because your trigger may be very different from mine. So for me, when my kids were little, one thing that I knew was going to be a trigger for me were chaotic mornings. I can't find my homework. I don't know what I want to wear. I don't know what I want for lunch. And so what we did, and the system I did in my home, everything I could do the night before to prepare for the morning, we did. Lunches are made. 4 or 5 outfits are picked out on Sunday evening for the entire week. So knowing your triggers allows you to kind of, you know, have a buffer and prevent. The other thing is self-care. And I know many times we talk self-care, we're thinking a luxurious stay at the spa. I'm talking some basic stuff here. I'm talking sleeping, exercising, you know, using SELF as an acronym, sleep, exercise, really nurturing those loving relationships, people that you love and that love you. And then F, your faith, you know, fueling your faith. What are you fueling your body with? How are you nourishing your body? Are you having fun? But just taking self-care and making it a bit more basic. And I think something else we've got to keep in mind is just pause.
Yes. And giving yourself that moment to just pause. And also mindfulness. I feel like that helps a lot. You know, just kind of being in tune with kind of what's happening, because that's the biggest thing. And I think you brought up such a great point about those triggers. Because for me, it's one of those, it's loud noises when everyone is there's so much, and I can't take it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to focus in if you've got all this external, you know, stimulation going on.
Exactly.
But pausing and just taking a moment. If it's safe, step outside, step into another room. Just give yourself a different scenery for the moment. And then lastly, and maybe this could actually be first, get help.
Yes.
Tell somebody. Be vulnerable enough to tell your partner, your spouse, your best girlfriend. your primary care physician, look, I'm not okay.
And that's okay.
I'm not okay.
It's okay to not be
Yes.
okay. One of your other tips that you had said was whispering. What do you mean by that?
Yes. So there was a mom I was working with, and I thought this was genius. She did this on her own. She was a yeller, right? We know what that's like.
yeah.
And so what she chose to do was swing the opposite way, and she began whispering. When she felt this urge to yell, she would literally whisper. It made her kids kind of draw in a little bit closer to kind of hear what she was saying.
Okay.
She had their attention. So there's just so many different things, but I just want moms to know, just because you had a bad day doesn't make you a bad mom.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because I think we have all been there in that moment that
Yes.
your emotions get the best of you and you just feel like you're failing as a
Right,
parent. So that's
right.
really great advice. I actually really like the whispering.
Yeah.
That's it. That's very interesting. Deborah Porter, always great to have you. How
Thank
can our
you.
viewers connect with you?
DeborahPorter.net and at MomCoachDeborah on IG.
All right. And by the way, on Wednesdays, we wear pink.
We wear pink.
Thanks for catching the memo.
Thank you.